Hello, this is Alex with GrowHow. Today I'm getting ready to fertilize the pandemic garden, and I want to go over some of the fertilizers I just found in the house in the garage and show you what I've got. Now in my area, primarily what we're fertilizing with is nitrogen. Most soils here, unless they've been farmed continuously since settlement, have plenty of potassium, plenty of phosphorus, plenty of the other major nutrients, the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Nitrogen is our big deal. Now if you've got your soil tested, or if you have reason to believe by plant behavior that you may have another issue, by all means, you're different. I get that. This is for the average person in Utah. We're looking for nitrogen. First one here is an okay source of nitrogen. It's a 10-10-10. 10, first 10 is nitrogen, the second 10 is phosphorus, and the last 10 is potassium. I don't really need the phosphorus and potassium, but again, I found this in the house when I moved in. I didn't buy this. This is mostly urea, and urea is going to be one of your quickest nitrogen sources to move in and out of the soil. It'll get in, and it will either leach out or it'll volatilize, and your plants won't have it for that long. It will give them a quick boost. That's about all it'll do. Again, it works really well for potted plants where I have more control over the watering and stuff like that. But this is really not for outdoor stuff. And that goes for Miracle Grow or any other water-soluble fertilizer. I use it professionally for lawns because I'm out there 6 times a year. As soon as I can, I go to granular because I just don't think this is very good. The next one, and this is really nice. This is a polymer coated fertilizer. Again, it's a 19-6-12. Again, I don't need the other nutrients so much. This is a great one for pots because you fertilize once every 6 months and you're done. As long as you're not expecting a lot of really fast growth, this releases slowly. It's good. It's good in the garden because it releases slowly, and that nitrogen is more likely to go to your plants rather than the groundwater or the atmosphere. But this is more expensive. A polymer coated or really any kind of coating on a fertilizer is going to drive the price up. In this case, this is one of the more expensive ones. There is a sulfur coated fertilizer commonly available. I don't have any of that here. My wife actually sent this to me 11 or 12 years ago on deployment so I could grow stuff out in Afghanistan. I brought it back. I don't use a lot of fertilizer, folks. Now this is one, I don't remember if I bought this like a gazillion, like 15 years ago. This one is it's a fairly cheap go-to. It looks like a bunch of rocks, but I can buy a box of this and it goes a long time. It's okay. I mean, it's not top of the line, but it's fairly cheap and available. I think it does say the nitrogen source. Oh yeah, the nitrogen source is ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphate. The biggest problem with this is it's only got 6 on the nitrogen rather than a higher amount. Like I said, I don't need the phosphorus and potassium that much, so this is really going to be, again, probably better for pots. Now this I know I found here, and this is a 584, and it's listed as a rose and flower food. Let me show that to you. Again, it's really low in nitrogen. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, but I'm going to get low value for the money I spent. I think the biggest thing on this one is it is a slow releasing, especially for the nitrogen. It's made from chicken manure, at least for the nitrogen source, and that's good. Because it's organic, or semi-organic, as they put it, natural sources. I probably need to use it quicker. This is another one I just found here. This one is made for lawns. Is that a problem for a vegetable garden? I'm going to say no, because there's no pesticides in here. There's nothing inherently toxic here, unless you believe that fertilizer is inherently toxic, and some people do. This one is advertising it greens in 72 hours, so it is going to have a quick reaction. But if I read further on the label, the ingredients on this are sulfur-coated urea and polymer-coated urea. And so most of the urea is in a slow-release formulation where it's coated to slow it down. So while this will give it a quick burst, it's also going to give it a slow release on fertilizer. And I like the slow release. This has its place. As a professional lawn fertilizer, something like this is what I want, because I've got to have that quick green so the clients don't get mad at me. but I need to have that nitrogen around so that it doesn't yellow in a week or two. And this will do that. Again, it's made for lawns. I use commercial stuff at work that looks a lot like this. After a while, you start being able to tell a lot by look. And this is a decent fertilizer, and it's perfectly good for your garden. I'll probably use it on something this year. I don't know what yet. This is blood meal. Now somebody's gonna say, oh great, he's gotten to organic. Well, yes and no. This is not certified as organic due to the mad cow scare a number of years ago. Some of you are probably not old enough to remember that. So they quit you listing this as organic, but it is in fact from a natural, well, semi-natural source. It's blood meal. Probably cow or pig blood, most likely. This is great stuff. This bag, it's a 1200, so the nitrogen is not as high as this. This is like 29.34, which is actually a really good blend for a garden, by the way. This is all nitrogen as far as its nutrient capacity goes that's listed on the label. It's 12%, which is I consider about a medium. About the highest you can get is 49 for a straight urea with no additives. So this is medium. This is not bad. This is really a great fertilizer. When I bought this, which was at least 10 years ago, it was $5. If you're doing a small garden, that's not cost prohibitive. This will be a little bit cheaper, but you're also getting less nitrogen, so trade off there. This is a good way to go. It is almost a quick release. Blood meal, the nitrogen in blood meal seems to break down really quickly and is available to the plants really quickly. Again, not a bad way to go. I like it. I've also had this for a gazillion years, and again, since it's animal based, I really need to use it up before it goes totally bad. I'm going to post this, I think, tonight, and I'm going to ask you all to help me with fertilizing the pandemic garden. Should I go with the blood meal? Should I go with the Pennington grass fertilizer? Again, they're not paying me money. They did put a lot of work into the fertilizer, so I'll give them that credit. Lilly Miller rose and flower food. Again, Pennington all-purpose fertilizer. Or should I use the high-grade Expert Gardener slow release? I'm not going to fertilize it with this unless I come up against a real struggle. So that's out. Tell me what you want me to fertilize with, and I'll do it later this week. Catch you later. Manana.